Thank you so much for asking this question. 2019 until today, I think there's been a major transformation, and the market has grown substantially and exponentially. I find myself saying this as a broken record, but a lot has to be attributed to what had happened with all of us, which is COVID 19. Because of COVID 19, banking specifically has had a very direct impact. And we realized that without digitization, nothing can be achieved in the new era of norm. Hence, the market has increased many folds. We see a lot of emergence of new players. We see customer expectations to be drastically changing, which has brought in a very new flavor and a very vibrant view to the market of banking, to the market of digitization in banking and financial sector. Well, first of all, let me praise the Central Bank of UAE's efforts, especially this country, in making a big impact in terms of digitization and also in terms of bringing UAE at the top of the world. This is a very ambitious plan. However, knowing the history of UAE and the Central Bank, we've shown that impossible is always possible in this country. If you have to look at what ways they need to work on, I think they need to enforce better policies that cover different facets of governance. It could be your increased risk management. It could be on KYC facet, know your customer. It could be on digitization. It could be on fraudulent reduction and mitigation manners. So there are different ways I believe that Central Bank of UAE needs to enforce these policies. Better governance is important. However, they need to also make a balance between better governance, stringent rules, and also empowering the consumers. Open banking is another aspect where the Central Bank of UAE would be coming up with very informative and very innovative ideas that will put the Central Bank of UAE at the top of the top 10 banks in the world. Thank you for asking this question. Central Bank of UAE certainly is playing a very pivotal role in terms of transforming the banking and the financial services industry. And we often talk to Central Bank as Backbase to really understand what are the driving motives that is driving these changes. Technology companies, and specifically Backbase, the kind of differences we can make to the banking industry are very impactful and very profound. We believe as Backbase, we create instant value, instant rewards to the banking services space, and especially for your end consumers. So Backbase being a platform of the platforms, we bring instant value to your end customers. We believe that tomorrow's businesses are going to be based on the platform vision, and having that platform DNA is very important. Hence, Backbase, as a very hardcore technology company, can bring in a lot of value to banking financial institutions, especially with the support of central banks in the Gulf region and in UAE. We can achieve that together. Well, I think today's time there are a lot of very interesting trends that are being seen, especially in the space of the millennials and the Generation Z. We believe that the demand from that particular space of your audience requires instant rewards, instant instance, and everything to be very instant. And that is something where as Backbase we create a lot of value to the banks as well as to this particular set of consumers. So trends around buy now, pay later, I think that is something which is emerging very fast. We also see things like embedded finance. So you don't really have to go and use a credit card or a debit card to ask for a buy now, pay later. You can instantly do that on your mobile and on a website that you're buying shoes or a watch from, So that's one thing. We also see a lot about personal finance management. People really want to structure their financing, also structure their budgeting, where they're heading to. So these are some of the very key trends that we're looking at. A really other trend, which is of my favorite, is also instant onboarding. You like something on the shop, but you don't have, and often I've seen like these merchants have these relationships with these banks nowadays. For example, I go to Carrefour or I go to Sheriff DG, and they have a partnership with Standard Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, Emirates NBD, RAC Bank, for example, and I don't have a credit card for RAC Bank to avail that discount. So what I can do is I can just download the app, instantly become a credit card user of RAC Bank, and then buy that particular device and get a really fantastic discount. So, these are the kind of things that are happening, and I think it's going to grow. We're just seeing the start. Yeah, that's about it. Fantastic. To keep it short, it's going to change big time. Neobanks are going to make a big wow in the coming times to be seen. Especially, there's a very fast adaptation of these neobanks. You take Ila Bank in Bahrain, for example. We're very proud of saying that they use us as a platform. And the talk of the town when you go to Bahrain is Ila Bank. Everybody from the taxi driver to the student in a university to a cafe owner to a businessman to a professional is using Ila Bank. They are bringing a profound change in the user experience of what traditional banks and incumbent banks have failed to do so. So I personally believe neobanks are going to make a really big difference. They bring in simplicity, they bring in instant rewards, they bring in instant gifts, they bring in transparency, what a lot of incumbent banks don't do. So a lot of change is going to happen. We will see a lot of emergence of more neobanks. I think the question is for these neobanks to survive is to pick up an area where they can really specialize in. If they go with an approach that we can do everything at the same time, a lot of these ventures can potentially fail as well. So Backbase being a technology provider for platforms of the platforms, we can create a lot of value for these neobanks, and we're very proud of saying that a number of neobanks are using us as their technology partner, as their consulting partner, and as their business partner to achieve their goals and ambitions. Backbase is here for the long run. We see a big potential in this region, especially the Gulf markets, whether it is UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, or Oman. We are a growing company. We're expanding in the region. I'm very pleased to share that we also signed a new long-term committed partnership in Saudi Arabia with one of the top banks there called Banque Saudi Fransi. And similar things are happening in the region. We're very much focusing in Qatar nowadays as well. We believe the next phase of innovation will be coming in from that country. Bahrain, as you already know, is quite ahead in the digital transformation and in the fintech space. The central bank in Bahrain is very flexible as well as very forward-sighted. So they do some of the decisions that they've made are followed by the other countries in the region. And of course, we being based in UAE and in Dubai, we are definitely here, very close to our new prospects and to our customers.